Record. And so with that, again, I'm Jenna Armstrong, lead trainer. Been with Barre and Soul since 2020 up here in Portsmouth, New Hampshire is where I'm located. Been a full-time fitness instructor since 2018. I come as a 500-hour ERYT, which means I've taught thousands of classes, truly thousands. This year, I'll hit 5,000 classes, which I'm very excited about. A lot of experience, and I look forward to the opportunity to possibly lead you. I'm going to pass the mic over to Andrea now to let her introduce herself.
Hello, thank you so much, Jenna. I'm Andrea Isabel Lucas, and I'm the owner of Barre and Soul, and I have been, I have been teaching yoga since about 2011, 12, I forget now, but I did my 200-hour back then, and I was teaching full-time, and then I ended up starting Barre and Soul, and eventually don't teach full-time anymore. I'm kind of more focused on running the business now, but I have been involved in running teacher trainings ever since I had my first studio in 2013. I was really lucky when I was starting Barre and Soul, I had an opportunity to buy a thriving studio that already had its own yoga teacher training program. So I've been doing teacher training since then. Ours has taken many forms over the years. So we've always had a 200-hour Yoga Alliance approved ever since the start of Barre and Soul. And like it has had so many different iterations. There was one where it was like 6 weeks. There was one where it was 6 months. I think overall, the one we did the longest was 6 months for a long time. That was the format that seemed to work for people, like a January through June kind of thing. Then because we started to be in college communities like Harvard Square, folks asked for one that ran on the school year, that went from like September to, I don't know, May, I think, or early May, maybe graduation. That worked for a while. And then COVID happened. And then like life got more unpredictable for people. And it started to be that committing to something that ran for a whole school year didn't always work for people anymore. We found that like stuff was coming up and we had more people having to ask to like come back and complete at a later time. So through a mastermind that I'm in with other studio owners, I ended up finding out from another studio owner that she had found a format that was working incredibly well for her. She had 100% graduation rate. Her clients were like super happy with the way that they were conducting and structuring the training itself. And that's the model that we've moved to now, where the things that can be easily enough done online are done online. The in-person is done at the end, and the whole thing is condensed to a shorter timeline so that folks can just commit, kind of put their head down, get their training done, and like move on with their life rather than having it be something that happened over a longer duration. So just to share that little bit of background with you so that you know why we have it structured the way we have it in terms of the time container, the virtual and in-person hybrid combination. It's really been through trial and error and kind of seeing what works for folks over the years. So that's all I'll say for now. And I'll pass the mic over to Kristen.
Yes, Kristen, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you are to this program.
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen. I was, or still am, a student at Barre and Soul Melrose. I joined the studio winter of 2023. I really fell in love with yoga. I think it was the first studio I joined where I really felt like I needed to take it deeper. So I saw that the training came out through Barre and Soul, and I thought, what better place, to train than the studio that is kind of like my home. So I joined the training last winter and graduated. So I'm a Barre and Soul YTT 200-hour certified graduate, and currently teaching at Barre and Soul Melrose now since the fall. So really excited to be here and happy to talk about my experience and any questions you may have, because I've been in all your shoes. So here for any questions.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kristen. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to talk through the course, but we're going to bring Kristen back on after I kind of go through a little outline of what's to come. So she will speak to her experience. She had a full-time job while she went through the course, which I know is kind of the main thing of, I work so much already. How can I take this on? So she'll speak to that plenty. But before we dive in and as we go, I would love it if you all could drop your name in the chat, where you currently practice, where you're located, and also just what excites you about the idea of doing a yoga teacher training. And then, so that's a little so we can get to know you. If you do have specific questions that pop up that Kristen might be able to speak to, drop those in as well as I'm speaking. Okay, cool. So welcome everybody. Again, let's dive in to just FYIs on the course. I'm going to share my screen here. And so this is just our sales website. So we're just going to look through it just so you don't have to stare at my face the whole time. But our dates for this go around are February 21st through April 17th. And then after, so that's the online portion of the program. After that, that Saturday, April 19th, we have the option for an in-person day. It's totally optional. You can absolutely be 100% virtual if you are not local to this area. If you just can't make it to the in-person day, that's okay. You can still get your certification, but I highly recommend make the trip if you can. That in-person day is phenomenal. We take 8 hours to do a class together, to learn hands-on assist, practice hands-on assist, as well as you get to actually like practice teach in front of people and cue them and see how bodies respond to your words that you are using. We also do a little graduation ceremony and just have room for more discussion. So to dive into the program though, I'm going to scroll ourselves down. Our program is 8 weeks online. Each week, you'll visit our online learning platform, which I will show you what it looks like here shortly. The lessons are paced out, and you can really kind of decide when you want to do the assignments. There are 3 days of assignments. They are due Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And those due dates are pretty flexible. The whole course is fairly flexible within reason, but it really allows you to kind of decide where you can do your assignments. Maybe it's bulking up on the weekend, maybe it's a couple hours every single day. Within those virtual assignments, it's a lot of filming yourself, cueing through poses, flowing through poses, and you get an unbelievable amount of feedback on that. I give you feedback based on your posture. If you are a little, shifted back when you should be more forward, if your chaturanga, which if you don't know what chaturanga is, you're going to learn and you're going to love it. Feedback on cues to how to strengthen your chaturanga, things like that, as well as feedback on your cueing. If you're saying something that's pretty complicated, ways that you can simplify it to make it more accessible. So they are definitely bite-sized lessons that you'll be going through to help you learn how to cue all the poses. We go through just about 60 poses in the program. And then every week ends with anatomy and philosophy quizzes. So you are learning anatomy throughout. We're talking philosophy throughout. We do have a required 3-hour Zoom meeting each week on Sundays. This is typically Sunday afternoons. Usually we let you have your morning and then we just meet for a little bit. These are required to be Yoga Alliance approved for this online program. We have to hit so many synchronous meeting hours. These meetings are where you will actually cue to your cohorts a little sequence, as well as talk about, there's a lecture at the start of every week. So we'll discuss that lecture. We'll talk philosophy. We'll talk about how you are living your yoga. So not only do you come out of this program with 8 weeks of experience teaching and cueing to people, but also 8 weeks of reflection. So we get people who want to join our YTT program for all sorts of reasons. Most of them, yes, it is to teach, but some people really just want to deepen their practice and get to know themselves better. So you hit all of it with our meetings. To close out the program, to graduate, there is a final philosophy quiz, final anatomy quiz, and then there is a one-on-one, not a one-on-one, there is a full 1 hour yoga class that you will teach on Zoom to your fellow cohorts, as well as whoever else you'd like to invite for that class. And then we hope to see you for our in-person program. But let me jump over to what the course actually looks like. So welcome to your Barre and Soul Yoga teacher training. It is on a fantastic program that we use a lot called Teachable. If you're familiar with it, if you've done other fitness programs, you might recognize it. It's very easy to access. You really just go through, you watch your videos, hit complete and continue. As you go on, we have bios about everybody who participated in making this program. And then just to give you an idea, each week starts with a lecture. We dive in right off the bat with the history of yoga, very important. And then the yoga pose videos. So with these yoga pose videos, this is really how you're learning, the cues, how to say it. We have, let me just find one to give you an idea of what it'll be like.
Next up, we have forward fold, Uttanasana.
Oh, this is sped up. We don't want to watch it sped up. Well, maybe you do. But for now, I'm going to slow it down. All right, here we go.
From mountain pose, we'll actually take it through upward salute. Inhale, sweep the arms up high. Exhale, swan dive down, soften the knees at the bottom, and release the neck and head. Beautiful. So hang out here for a moment. In this forward fold, you want clients to find a little softness at the bottom. So really encourage them to soften the knees, relax the neck and head. And if you have people here for a few breaths, you're comfortable with hands-on assist, you've had that conversation with your clients, you can always step up to them, take a hand to the low back, and then just gently guide them down a little bit more. Slowly release, especially if they start leaning their weight into you. Take one hand off, make sure they are stable, release the other hand. And this is your forward fold, Uttanasana.
So we have these videos for every single pose that you are expected to learn. And then at the end of reviewing all of them, you have your assignment. It's going to be videoing yourself doing each of these poses with your 1, 2, 3 cues. So you can take what's written, press into the hands, lift it into an upside down V shape, or you can create what feels more natural for you. And that's what we really want to encourage, especially is for you to tap into your authentic voice and authentic teaching. So the first assignment is filming all of these poses individually, and then we go on through a series of other assignments. But one major thing that we like to talk about is your why and how you can tie that into your teaching, talking about theming your classes and bringing your inspiration. So while I might personally like teaching a power flow and challenging people a lot, that might not be you, and that is perfectly fine. In fact, we need a wide variety of yoga instructors to have a teacher for every student. So we really encourage different styles of teaching because there are so many different styles of students. So then we close with our anatomy and philosophy quizzes, as I mentioned. Now, I do just want to touch back on to our cost for this course. So we have a full cost of $2,890, which is very on par with your standard 200-hour, although I do think that it is still a little under. But right now, until the end of January, we have a huge discount for those of you who want to just make that commitment. And we're giving you $1,000 off to bring it to $1,890. There's 2 more things that I want to say, and then I'm going to be done talking. So first off is my 200-hour was in person with a cohort of 9 people. And 9 people, really not too much, but because there was 9 people all at once, I didn't get really any one-on-one feedback on my cues, my poses, my, personal practice. And we had a lot of great discussion being live in person, but in terms of what I got out of it, there just wasn't much one-on-one interaction because it was a large group. My 300-hour I did during COVID. It was fully 100% online, and it was a very affordable program where you were left to your own devices. Maybe you finished, maybe you didn't. You had to submit a final assignment and you got feedback at that time, but there was absolutely zero connection conversation throughout. So I've seen both sides of the yoga teaching opportunities of what you can do for your certification. And I'm a huge fan. Of course, I'm a little biased, but I'm a huge fan of the way that we did it. It's accessible for people who have a variety of different jobs, and you get all the feedback that you could possibly want. And in fact, maybe more feedback than you want, which is not a bad thing. There's still plenty of opportunity for conversation and discussion in our Sunday meetings. And so I think it's a wonderful way to go. So I'm going to stop my share now. And first I want to just address the chat. So thank you to those of you who chatted. And nice, it looks like we have some local people as well as some people from much further away, west of Atlanta. Nice. You are probably having really nice warm weather. We are not. So with that, thank you all so much, especially to those of you who are already Barre and Soulmates attending our Wayland Square studio. Love it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. I'm actually going to pass the mic over to Kristen now so she can tell you about her experience. And Kristen, I'd love it if you could start about the actual experience through the course, how it was balancing your job, and also share, what your job is, how demanding it was, as well as, all the assignments that you had to do. And then close it out with talking about your life post-graduation.
Yeah, I'm really happy to share my experience. So, like I had mentioned, I had been going to Barre and Soul for about a year. So I was a fairly new student, but the teachers I met at Barre and Soul really helped me take my practice deeper, and that's why I wanted to learn more. So when I decided to kind of take the training and go down the teacher route, it was definitely a hard decision because I was working full time. I was working in the life science corporate company. So I was working in marketing, and it was virtual, but it was very time consuming and demanding. But I knew yoga was something I was really passionate about. And because it was virtual, the Barre and Soul training, it was something I thought I could actually consider. So I joined the meeting like you are all here today, sat down, and I got to hear from Cassidy, who had taken the training as well through Barre and Soul. And I will say, because it's virtual, it's very doable if you're working full time or part time. And especially during the winter, when things slow down, it's very doable versus in the summer, there's a lot of social events and just things to do. So I would say this is the best time really to do a yoga training. And the way the program is set up, like Jenna had mentioned, everything is spaced out. You know the schedule every week, so you can plan ahead. And Jenna is also very flexible. There were times when I was traveling for a weekend and I got pushed behind on different assignments, and she was really understanding, able to work with us with our schedules. So I was really grateful for that, because a lot of in-person trainings, you have to be, on the dot in person, and it's very demanding. Whereas a virtual training, you can kind of take it as it comes and decide what pace works for you. So it's very personable, which is what I liked. And to go a little bit more into the program, I think the bulk of it is really just, sitting down and listening and watching the lectures, taking notes. But then the quizzes are pretty straightforward. As long as you, review the whole video and are listening, you're going to do just great. And I would say it's just the videos that were probably the most time consuming. I know for me, I had like huge stage fright. So just feeling myself talking in front of nobody was the first time I'd ever did that, and very uncomfortable. But the group that we had, everyone was so supportive, and it was just such a welcoming environment where I just felt like, we're all doing it together. Who cares if I look or act a certain way? Like we're all doing the same thing together, same goal. So I would say the videos got a little bit challenging towards the middle of the program, just because we're hitting a lot of the peak poses in those weeks. So there's more to learn, more to practice, but because it falls kind of in the middle of the program, we're already used to filming ourselves, used to cueing. So we're already set up perfectly for it. So I think the only thing that was concerning would be kind of the time and energy around the peak pose sections. But I can say I got very comfortable with filming, and now when I'm teaching in class, I don't even think about it. And it's crazy just reflecting on when I was going to those meetings last year during the training, I would be so nervous. But now I'm fully teaching and I don't even think about it. So it's really cool to see the progress, because I think this is the first time I've really reflected on the training since I did it last year. So I know that kind of threw out a lot, but to fast forward to present day, I auditioned with Barre and Soul in Melrose, my home studio, and I started teaching there in the fall. I picked up a weekly class, which I think was a really good pace for me to start at. I had a whole week to create, practice, and kind of figure out my cadence. And then I picked up 2 more classes and then an additional 2 more classes. So I'll be teaching 5 times a week come February. So safe to say that this program really does set you up phenomenally for teaching. I had gone into the training not even wanting to teach, just wanting to learn more. And I just felt so empowered after graduating and so just knowledgeable, just learning so much and just flipping from student to teacher, you really learn a lot. So I was itching to do something with my certification. So I know that was a lot, but if you guys have any questions, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I do want to just touch on, there were a couple questions in here. What is the average teacher training class size? We do, so we cap the cohorts. So we have had larger sessions to where we ended up having multiple Sunday sessions, but we've capped the actual, your Sunday session cohort to, I think the most we had was 7 in one. And if we do have to do multiple sessions, we usually let people pick the best one that works for them. And so far, knock on wood, it's always worked out that people have gotten their choice. If we have a smaller session, like I think this past round in fall, we only had, I think, 5 people. I can't remember actually. I think it was 5. Sorry. I should preface all of this by saying I have an 8-month-old baby. So pretty much anything that's happened in the last 8 months, my brain has just taken it and released it as soon as it's completed. I believe we had 5 people, and it was a beautiful size. It was perfect for everybody to kind of be able to chat. Kristen's session, I think our earlier one, we had an earlier time slot that I think ended up having 7 people, and hers, I think, was the afternoon. Correct me if I'm wrong. Whichever one you were in was a little smaller. I think we only had about 4 people. So we kind of try to let everybody get their preference. But we do make sure that your Sunday meeting time is a reasonable amount and not overwhelming. I did see another question in here. One of the Sundays I'll be traveling for work. So yeah, of course we know that, committing to 8 Sundays is a lot. So we always let the first one slide. If you already have a vacation planned or work planned, that's okay. Because it is a requirement of Yoga Alliance, we have set a fee for missed sessions just in case you start traveling every Sunday. That fee is $50 for a missed session. So the first one is always waived and understood. And then if you happen to just, for lack of a better word, start slacking, we just have to implement something to encourage you to stay on it. That was everything that I saw. So I'm going to bounce it back to Andrea to see, let her kind of follow up and share any thoughts that popped up.
Congratulations, Kristen. It's so exciting to see your journey, and it's so fun. It's also really so fun to me how many folks come in not thinking that they want to teach. And like that could change, and it could go the other way too. You could think you want to teach and be like, actually, I don't want to teach. I'm so glad I did this for me. And like, this is what I got what I needed from just deepening my studies, and all of that is good. So I think one question that often comes up that most people wouldn't come out and ask, so I'll just address it, is whether or not you're like ready for a yoga teacher training. Like, I think some people think that you have to have some kind of an advanced level of practice. Like, maybe, do I need to be able to do everything that's offered in the yoga classes that I go to? Do I need to be able to do handstands? What if I'm not flexible? And like, so I just think it's always good to just name that and like speak to that, to say that, just like Jenna said at the very beginning of this call, there's every kind of yoga student. And because of that, we really need every kind of yoga teacher. And there's a lot of yoga teachers that are highly acrobatic, and we love that for them. And that's a lot of fun for highly acrobatic students who have acrobatic goals. But I think like the majority of yoga students, that's really not what they're looking for. And they want a teacher that can relate to them, that actually can say like, yeah, when I do this in my body, I use the blocks like this, and that really helps a lot. And then like the class is probably more likely to relate to that. So just know that like, if you're at this point that you feel this would deepen your practice, that shows that you have the level of seriousness about your yoga practice. I think it's more about the level of seriousness that you have for yoga, rather than the number of months, years, hours of experience, or what your body physically can do or not. And I will tell you, like, not to out anybody, but I lead a lot of like continuing ed and ongoing development for people that are teaching fitness and yoga full time. And when I ask them if they're meditating every day, it is very few that are actually like consistently always sticking to their practice. So like, I just don't want you to have too much of a pedestal where you think like yoga teachers have to be on this pedestal of like perfect practice or, perfect habits or, attaining enlightenment or anything like that. I just wanted to share that. I think being you, being real, having a passion for yoga and then a passion for how you want to share it with folks, like that's what actually matters much more than all those other things.
And speaking to that, and there's another question in the chat that I'll answer in a second, but I just want to say there's, we go through the 8-limb path, which if you don't know what it is, you will learn it in any yoga training that you do. And the first 2 limbs are the yamas and niyamas, which are just ways to better your life. And I will send a group text out to everybody, at our Sunday meeting, we discuss them all. And then I say, pick 1, pick 2 that you want to commit to for this week. By about Wednesday, Thursday, I'll send a check-in. It happens quite a bit that people have completely forgotten the assignment by then. So yeah, speaking to, you don't have to meditate every day. You don't have to, we're all human, things happen. We forget about stuff. And that's, I think, another reason why this version of a training is so accessible and so approachable. And if you forget your assignment, it's fine. I'm here to check up on you and make sure that you remember. So there's really no stress or no worries there. There was a question, is there a difference in this training and the Super Sculpt training? Yes, this is a full 200-hour yoga certification. We do offer a Super Sculpt yoga training, which is a weekend certification. And I highly recommend this first, though we do not require a 200-hour prior. But I believe for our Super Sculpt training, there are some prerequisites. You have to be a fitness instructor of some sort and have knowledge of the body and ways to cue, because it is a condensed training. Just like we offer bar intensive weekend trainings, you have to be a fitness instructor for those, because it is just a quick 20-hour in and out. And also for Super Sculpt yoga, for our classes, for our studios, we require every class has to have sun salutations. You learn what the sun salutations are here in this 200-hour. So you can have that knowledge when you go, if you go into a Super Sculpt training, you are good to go there. Yeah. Excellent. Well, feel free to keep popping questions in. I do want to just answer a question that we've gotten before that I think is really valuable, and something that, you're investing a lot of money into this and you want to know what's going to happen. What's the investment really? What's it worth to you? Whether you are near us or somewhere else, this certification is your 200-hour yoga certification, which is often required for you to teach yoga at gyms, fitness centers, fitness studios, anywhere across the board. Most often they will request your Yoga Alliance approved certification. So whether you are local to us or somewhere else, this will get you in the door, at least to, start that audition. We also, at the end of our program, one of the final lectures we have in our 8-week program is the business of yoga, which Andrea leads that lecture on our program. And so she will tell you all about the best ways to get in the door. If you are thinking about doing this and there's a studio in your town that you really love and you don't even know where to begin, we go through the steps that you should take to start the conversation with them, to approach them, and what that audition could look like for you. We talk all about it. And I am very proud to say that I'd confidently say 75% of the people who have gone through our training have gone on to teach in a variety of capacities. We had someone who, she was an electrician, and she worked with her union to start offering classes to other electricians. They were very different than maybe a yoga class you would see in a studio to accommodate what their bodies have to do with their jobs. But it was really unique and a really wonderful outlet for everyone, and also community building for her union. So we really set you up for success, whether you want to teach at a studio, teach at your job, teach to your friends, whatever the case is, we talk you through it. And if you are local to us, we do offer a mentorship program if you are interested in one of our studios. And if you aren't local to us, I am always happy to continue a conversation. If you're like, I want to do this for an audition, what do you think? I am here for you. All right, at this point, if you have any questions, you can unmute, shout it out.
Could be questions or it could be like a hesitation. Like it's okay to be like, I am a little nervous about this aspect of it. Like this is the part that has me, still a little unsure or whatever. Feel free.
I have a logistics question. I don't know if I missed it at the beginning, but the in-person optional sections, is that in Portsmouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Great question. It is in Portsmouth. It's typically an 8-hour day from 10:15 to 6:15. With that said, we've had people have to show up late, have to pop out early. It's not, if you can't make it the full day, don't come. It's definitely, I'll give you the outline of this is what we're doing throughout the day. And, if maybe you just want to come for the graduation ceremony. The last cohort that we had, we did have someone who wanted to be there for the hands-on assist, but she wasn't comfortable with participating in it. And that's totally okay. If you are someone who just doesn't want a lot of hands on you, we are totally okay with that. So she just, was there and was able to take notes and learn that way, and was still able to be present for all the conversation we have and everything. So you can come the whole day, part of the day. We would love to see you, but it is Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question about the videos we would need to make of ourselves. Is that something we can do with a cell phone, or what equipment would we need to make those videos?
Oh, totally. Yeah. You can do it with cell phone, with laptop, whatever works best for you. We likely, I'd say most people probably just did it on cell phone and just either recorded, everything individually, or just hit record and kind of did a longer version. And then they would either upload it to YouTube, which we'll talk about ways to make it not public on YouTube so that only I see it, or upload it to their Google Drive. And actually, Kristen, while we still have you, because I know you have to leave soon because you have to teach this evening, but do you want to talk about how your recording was, what you used, how you uploaded it?
Yeah, so I think I started out with my phone, which definitely works, but with storage, I decided to move to my laptop. So I used my laptop camera, just would prop my laptop up on like a table and just put out my mat in the dining room and just film myself. So everything was just on like my laptop in one place. I would upload to my own Google Drive and then share it with Jenna. So it was really easy.
And I am the only one who looks at your videos. So I know we had people who'd want to blur their background or hide their background. And I promise you, I'm the only one, and I don't judge. Like I said, I've got a baby. You should see the rest of my house. This is the only nice corner of my house. So I don't judge. I don't care how your space looks.
Hi. I'm just wondering, so it could be that I have a 1 week period where I have family living abroad, so I might have to, go visit them. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to make up assignments like for if like the 3 of them on that week, like I can't, if that's flexible around that or.
Yeah, totally. So what I've done with people who either have a really busy work week or they get sick and just like completely knocked out, I'll usually set up a new schedule for like the following 2 weeks. So to give you time to get those assignments in and the following week, so then you're fully caught up by that 3rd week. So it does, yes, it totally happens, especially winter, like people are going to get sick. We're going to get behind, but I will work with you on a schedule that works in your life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just had a question in regards to getting our hours. So the online classes and in person count towards our hours. And Is there any other, like if you went to another studio or anything, would that count as time on the going towards it?
Thank you so much for asking that, because I don't think I touched on this. You have to take 4 weekly classes in addition to the Sunday meeting and reviewing the videos and all of that. And we have a tracker where you enter in that information. You say what class you took, with who, and you give your thoughts, because I want you over this time to be thinking as an instructor. What cues made sense? What flows made sense? What didn't feel so right? What would you have done differently? And so because this is a Barre and Soul program and I am your lead trainer, Yoga Alliance says that the classes have to be through Barre and Soul or through me. So we will, we have a variety of live stream classes, so you can take them from anywhere in the world. We have on-demand classes through our website that you just log in and you have access to those. And then I'll also give you some YouTube classes that I've done when we talk about like chair yoga, you know, things like that, so that you can try different styles. So those classes are through me. And then we also have our in-studio classes. So yes, you can take locally if you are local, but if you aren't, we have a ton of class options for you. I don't know exactly the number, I should have counted it up, but I would say we probably have at least 8 weekly live stream yoga classes, if not more, plus a growing on-demand program that we are often adding to. And I think we will be adding more while this session is going on. So there will be more. And we have everything from Super Sculpt Yoga, which I believe counts as an experienced yoga class that you can take. We also have a ton of meditations, which I also think, you know, count as an experience with yoga as well. But they do have to be through Barre and Soul or me. Any final questions?
I have one more question, sorry. So is there anything prior, do we have any other meetings prior to when we start on the 21st?
So no, prior to the 21st, I will, so just backing up, Monica's already been signed up with us. So yay, excited to have you join. But if you haven't joined yet, what will happen is once you sign up online, I'll send you an email. And Monica, make sure you did get the email that I sent you, right? With the info. Yes.
Yes.
So I'll
Yes,
send
yes.
you an email just touching base, giving you the 4 books that you will need to buy for this program. And then just stay tuned. Leading up to, so about a week prior, I will reach out to get you signed up for 2-week membership with Barre and Soul, where you have access to the live stream classes, the in-studio and the on-demand, as well as getting you set up with our online program. Our online program will start just leading up to those days prior. There will be an assignment due like the day that we start pretty much. But it's really just like make sure you know how to send in an assignment. It's sort of a self-reflection of your mental space at this time. So that'll probably be Monday. The course will open for you to get that done by when we officially start on February 21st. So you will receive an email prior though with a heads up this is going on. And if you're not able to get that assignment in on the 21st, if you are just fully committed and can't do anything, then as long as you get that assignment in the first few days after, that is a-okay. But basically, if you've already signed up, you won't hear from me really unless we chat until about a week prior. If you are about to sign up, you'll hear from me as soon as you, shortly after, within 24 hours of you sending in your or signing up for the course. Great question.
The books we need to get are can we get digital versions of them, or is it like only physical?
No, that's a great question. There is there's a book called Skill in Action, which does have an Audible version as well as, you know, Kindle online. You can definitely get that. I am not truly 100% sure if the 3 other books have Kindle options. I personally like a hard copy, like just to be able to take notes in and flip through. But if they come in a Kindle version or online version, I see no reason why you wouldn't be able to do that. I'm not 100% sure how they come though. Yeah, as long as you're able to read them. The one we have an anatomy of yoga, and that one is really what we use for the anatomy quizzes. So you definitely want to make sure it's a copy that you can, look through and reference and go back and forth in comfortably.
For the hi. The 4 classes per week, that's not included in the training fee, correct? We'd have to.
No, so in the training fee includes a 2-month membership.
Okay.
So then you're able, yeah. No, we wouldn't make you pay extra for that.
Oh, well, okay, yes. I wasn't expecting you to, but that's wonderful.
Yes. So once February 21st until April 19th, really, you'll have a membership for that entire duration. So you can take all those classes. Yeah. And then also what I've done after we've ended, if I do have somebody who's local, who's really interested, they want to keep working on it, happy to give like discounted memberships and all of that stuff and not expect you to pay full price if you want to keep communication going, keep your practice up.
Awesome.
Yeah. I am available via email, teach@Barre. So if you respond to any of the emails that you've gotten about the info session or anything like that, it'll come to me. If any questions pop up once we close out, please send them. I'm happy to answer. It's a big commitment. I know it's so exciting. I remember signing up for my 200-hour. It was such like an empowering moment, but it is a lot to commit to. So if you have any questions or, like Andrea said, hesitations, anything what's holding you back, just ask. Let me know. Let me say, this is what's going on for me, and we can talk about it and we can decide maybe now isn't the right time, and that's okay. We have more. Or maybe you just have to say it out loud and then you feel a lot better about it and you're ready to dive in.
So good to meet everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jenna, for leading us through all that, and let's keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Please reach out again and again and again, however many times you need to. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye, everybody.
Thank
you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye.